Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here with the Innumeris Education. We have a very special one today. I'm joined by Jordan Blount. Jordan, welcome to the team.
Thanks very much. Very excited. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff. I feel like we just picked you up in free agency or something like that at the end of the deadline. So we're
end of the season, new contracts getting ready to sign. You got me at the right time.
Exactly. We got you nice and early. Good stuff. How are you getting on anyway?
Very good. Just finished up season here now in Iceland, my second professional season. So heading to Chicago today. But yeah, I'm doing well. Couldn't complain. Had a good year. So
very good, very good. And you're on the road at the minute. Whereabouts are you?
On the road at the minute. Yeah. See if I can flip the camera so you can see it. Going through Iceland at the moment.
Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. A whole lot of action there.
Very good. Very good. Just like home. Just like home.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's not too far away, minus the snowy mountains.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I suppose just the main thing that we have you on today is to talk about the Prepping for Prep School program that we have coming up in the summer. If you want to just give a bit of a rundown of your thoughts behind it and what there is to expect.
So this is something that I'm very excited about. It's something that wasn't in place, when I was doing this, go back 10, 11, 12 years ago when I was trying to make this jump of playing basketball overseas, whether it be in Europe or States. Obviously, we're focusing on the States. But something like this wasn't there. So the whole idea of it is when we send kids, when Irish kids go to prep school in America, a lot of time it can be a big shock to them. It can be a culture shock, and just the whole idea of, you're away from home, you're focusing on your school and basketball and nothing else. So that's what we're trying to bring to the table in Ireland. You know what I mean? So we're trying to give them the idea of prep school before they go. So the way it is, it's going to be a week-long camp. We're going to have tutors there teaching SAT, ACT, exactly what you need to get into college when you're in prep. So the name behind it is the prep before the prep. So I'm super excited. I think it's got a lot of potential with Innumeris behind it. And we've got some really good coaches coming in and building contacts with the States. I think it's going to be something that hopefully lasts long, but gets off to a good start.
Definitely. And I think, being able to mirror exactly how prep school is going to be in America when you get where you have the academics in the morning and you have training after. And
100%. Yeah. So like the kids are going to come in early. I think they start at 9 o'clock and straight into SAT prep. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of places. There's also not a place in Ireland that can provide that type of help for kids. You know what I'm saying? So, that are going to America. Like when I went to the States, I didn't really look at an SAT till I got there. So the fact that we have tutors coming in the middle of the summer in a camp to give them the real rundown, the real structure of exactly what it is. You come in, you do your SAT work, you do your school work, then you go work out, you go eat, you come back for a little bit more tutoring, and you end the day with more basketball. It's as close to it as you're going to get.
Perfect. Yeah. And at the end of the week as well, there's going to be a bit of a showcase. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So like this whole thing, what we're gearing towards, what this is going to be used as is basically an identification thing for us, because we have connections already to the States. So we want to see like, hey, this is your year. We want to see if we can make this happen for you. So that's what the end of the week is going to gear towards. We're going to be teaching them how to play. We're going to do some skill work, this, that, or whatever. And then on the Friday, we're going to bring it all together and hopefully, in the process, change some people's lives.
Definitely. That's the plan anyway. I suppose you mentioned when Dan kind of reached out to you about the idea and about Innumeris in the first place. Why did you decide to kind of team up with Innumeris, I suppose, rather than other?
So I have my own brand where it just started where I was running camps and clinics and stuff like that. And then this year I kind of broadened it a little bit where I started doing player spotlights and wanted to really start helping people go abroad. You know what I mean? I've aspirations of coming back to Ireland. And I wanted to do that while I can, while I'm young, while I'm still in my career. And it fit right in line with what Innumeris are doing. I didn't have too much knowledge on Innumeris previously, but after looking at it, they provide constant help, services, tutorship to people who are in the States. They just don't do it with basketball. So as soon as that opportunity came up and they're like, hey, we want you to come in, we want you to be, hands-on, full-on with the basketball, I was like, yeah, say no more, because it fits perfectly with the goals of what I have with my brand. So I think it's going to be very beneficial for both.
Exactly. And I suppose just talking about your own brand there and about JB Elite, how did that kind of come about, I suppose, in the first place? I'm sure it's not easy to start something like that in Ireland.
It actually started in college. So I played college basketball in Chicago, and I was, I was for the team. The team used me for a lot of promotional things. I was in the media a lot. I was on posters, all that type of stuff a lot. And I was like, that's kind of what inspired me to do it myself. So I had shirts, I had caps with my logo, my brand on it, this, that, or whatever. And then I got back to the state. I took back to Ireland. And I was like, okay, now I can actually make this, for other people. I can turn this into something where I'm providing a service for other people. So the whole thing behind my brand is JB13 Elite, because when you come to one of these, so I have two types of things. I run clinics and I run camps.
Yeah.
Camps are different to the clinics. I won't put the word elite with that, because when you come to an elite clinic, I want you to expect an elite level of everything we do. You know what I'm saying? And that's the other reason why I feel like we fit hand in hand with Innumeris. At the level of what they do things, I think it's only going to benefit us.
Nice one. I suppose, Jordan, we'll just kind of go back to the start, I suppose, in your own career, and kind of how you kind of started off in basketball. If you want to kind of give us a rundown of your first memories, I suppose.
So I actually started playing basketball out of jealousy. It was going to happen at some point, but the way it began, because my father was a basketball legend. But the way it started, I was too young to go to the practices. I was like 6. And my 2 older brothers were going. So I threw a big tantrum one night, not happy about it, throwing everything all around the place. Not that was tolerated, but I got my point across. So the following week, I got brought down and I was allowed to play with the under 10s and the under 11s. And just from there, never stopped.
Yeah.
So I was lucky then obviously I stayed in Ireland till I was about 14, 15, just right before the junior cert.
Yeah.
And I went abroad to England, and then I went to Spain, and I hovered around Europe, went to prep school, then went to university, and through all that, got to play with the national team at all youth levels, senior level. So I've so far very lucky. I've had a really good career, not too many setbacks, so I'm happy.
Nice one. And I suppose when we're talking about prep schools, and this program is kind of, I suppose, prepping you for it. Being Inspire Academy, Lamella Ball, not a bad player to be kind of associated with and stuff. How was that experience over there?
Funny fact about that. I was the first Division 1 basketball player out of Spire.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You got that over.
Yeah. I paved the way for Lamella. That's what I'm trying to tell people. No, but I went there in their second year. They started bunch of money from a guy in the town that just built this incredible facility. I just finished playing at the under 18 Euros. I got a bunch of offers from a bunch of schools. And again, this is why I'm so, enthusiastic about this program that we're doing. I didn't have any knowledge about what that process of recruitment was, what it takes. Like, they started to mention the clearinghouse to me, and I was like, I don't know what any of this is. So I had to figure it out by myself. So I chose to go to a prep school, and luckily I had a good one, Inspire, who wanted me. And it was a great year. And it helped me figure out all my stuff.
Definitely. And I suppose you mentioned earlier about, trying to alleviate the stress or the kind of the changeover when you do move over to somewhere like that. How did you kind of deal with that, and how long did it take to kind of get used to it?
So the good thing for me was by the time I got to prep school, I was already out of Ireland for 4 years.
Nice.
So I left at a very young age, which not a lot of people would. So you get out of your shyness quite quickly when you're young, you know what I mean? Because you're a 15-year-old kid, you are who you are, you know what I mean? You can't hide who you are at that point. So just having a big personality, I always kind of fitted in and acclimated quite nicely. It's more so the ins and outs and the intricacies that I had to figure out, you know what I mean? From the off the court kind of stuff and the non-social side of things, what I needed help with.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And even on the basketball side of things, I suppose, and the style of play, how is that different to being in England and then Spain and then America?
Yeah, a lot more physical when I got to America, for sure. Prep school then obviously was very different to college. I had two very different roles. Whereas in prep school, I was trying to prove myself, prove that I was worthy of all these scholarships. And when I get to college, now there's a system, so I got to play the system. But definitely just the emphasis on everything is just so much higher than a lot of places, because the importance of winning is everything. You know what I mean? People's livelihoods are put in the hands of 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. You know what I mean? And these coaches have families to provide for. So, there's a level that they hold you to, and you better reach that level, or, it's not going to be an easy ride.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine. And even, you know, going through your time at the D1 college, what was kind of some of the big memories that you have kind of looking back on it now, I suppose?
Yeah, man, a lot of memories, a lot of great times there. A lot of my memories are around other teammates. So like some of the biggest moments and the most memorable moments are things that my teammates did. So like I remember we were playing against Wright State, our rivals in the conference, first game of the season, and we hit a shot to go to overtime, and then in overtime, our big man Travell Washington hits a tree on the buzzer to win it, and it was an ESPN game. It was feisty, like we had players get kicked out. You know, there was scuffles, this, that, or whatever, and yeah, that was one of my most memorable things. But that was the greatest thing about, you know, going to America. The friendships that you make, they're everlasting. You know what I mean? So that all my memories, my good memories, are from other teammates.
Exactly. No, it's funny because a lot of people, I suppose, from the outside would always think it's about the games, but pretty much about outside of the game and the people
and 100%.
dinner and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
There was an interview. I can't remember what team he played for, but it was he was talking about what he was going to miss the most, and he got super upset, and he was like, the biggest thing I'm going to miss is going out to dinner with the team. Because those are the type of things you take for granted, and then when they're gone, it's like, oh wow, like I'm not going to be sitting with my teammates, my brothers for the last 4 years for a long time.
Exactly. And I suppose on the academic side of things, when you are going through the college, how do you kind of find time to balance it, and what's kind of like a schedule like, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be very strict with yourself in terms of your time management, and that's something that you have to learn for sure. It's not something that you just get right away. The great thing about university in America is there's a lot of help. And my advice to people that are going over there to begin with is don't be afraid to get help. So they're there, people are there to help you. There's a structure there where their job is to make sure that you're okay in what you're doing and you're finding the ways to do it, the tools and the resources. So yeah, it was, for me, my first year was a little bit of a struggle academically because I didn't accept help. I was like, no, I'm good. I can do my own work. I don't need, like, I'm fine. And then very quickly figured out, like, everyone, please help me. You know, so yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
Very good. And you kind of go through your years of college anyway, and you know, you're kind of looking at what the future might hold. What was your kind of ideas, I suppose, coming towards the end of your time at college?
Yeah, so my very, very early on in my career, I knew I wanted to go back and play in Spain. I knew, because I played there for 2 years. I made a really good impression. I won some awards in the EuroLeague. And I knew very early on in my college career that I wanted to go back and start professionally in Spain. So I was lucky that I got that chance to do that. I had a Spanish agent at the time. I went to play in Lab Silver, and then I went to play in Lab Gold. So I got a good experience, and I loved it. You know what I mean? I speak Spanish fluently because I lived there before, and so it was a smooth transition for me. And I was very happy that I got to start my career there.
Very good. And I suppose when you speak about, you know, adapting to that culture so young and having the language, has there anyone else that's kind of followed your footsteps, I suppose, so far, or is this what you're kind of trying to do, I suppose?
Yeah, you know, when I first left, I was the only Irish guy. There was two guys from up north, but I was the only really young guy that had left and went to England. And the following year after I left England, I think there was 15 Irish guys from Ireland in the same academy. So that was like, oh wow, now it's like, that's a trend to an extent, you know what I mean? And then I think when I signed Division One, I think I was the 7th or the 8th D1 player in Irish basketball history.
Yeah.
And now you look at college basketball, and that's not demeaning D2, D3 or anything like that. That's just what we had. But now you look at college basketball, and there's a plethora of Irish players. Like, you can go through conferences and just look for Irish players now at all levels. So I think myself, John Carroll, I know Aiden started his journey. It was a different journey, but he started his around the same time as well. But I think myself and John Carroll were really the beginning of the next wave of people to start, you know, going to the States and being in the States and staying in the States and really having a good career.
Very good. And I suppose when you mentioned kind of the Irish people coming over, what's it like to play for your country, I suppose, at that level and tour around with them as well?
Yeah, listen, I've very lucky that I got to play on all the teams coming up. But when you play at senior level, like for now, for example, we're playing the Eurobasket, so a very meaningful tournament. Not demeaning any other tournament, but the Eurobasket is the Eurobasket, you know. So playing at senior level in the Eurobasket is absolutely incredible, especially a lot of the guys that are on that team, we're kind of around the same age, and it's like we're young, like we're quite young in our careers. Like I could play for another 10 years. Most of the guys that are at the core of our team can play for another 10 years. So it's like we're at the beginning of something really special with Ireland across our chest. You know what I mean? That brings a different level of pride.
Exactly. And where do you think the ceiling is for those Irish players, you know, the ones that you're even playing with, or even the ones coming through now? And I suppose, and you can even see the levels are rising in the underage teams where they're competing at a higher level in those competitions. Where do you think this can go, I suppose?
I think it won't be too far away that we see an Irish player in the NBA. Now, will I say after that there will be lots? No, but I'm saying we're not far away from getting someone in there for sure. I think the level of players that are playing in America right now, I think every one of them can play professionally in Europe. What level that may be, I'm not sure. But in these next 5 to, well, not even less, 4 to like 7 years, there's going to be so many Irish professionals. You know what I mean? Like we had a team, our senior team this year, we had all Irish players on the team. We had no Americans, and we had 7 pros at the senior level. That's not something Ireland has the luxury of all the time. You know what I mean? The last time something like that happened was before they had the 10-year hiatus. So you see the level of Irish basketball rising. You look at the senior national team, the core of that team is 4 Irish guys. You know what I mean? Like we're not bringing in imports because we're depending on them anymore. We have the ability now. Like we're at the standard that we need to be at to compete.
Exactly. Yeah. And I suppose just bringing it back to your own career now, and you know, moving on from Spain, you're now in Iceland. What was that transition like, and how did that come about as well?
I had to wear a lot more jackets. Cool country, very cool country. Look, I like I said, I've got to be in a lot of places, and just getting to come to this country and obviously being blessed with being able to do it with something I love. I'm very lucky, call myself very lucky, but super enjoyed this experience. You know, obviously I'm leaving today. But yeah, I look back on this with a lot of joy, a lot of good times here, you know, a lot of adversity, but a beautiful place, beautiful country. But yeah, I'm ready for the next change now.
Yeah, very good. And do you know what the future holds, I suppose?
Yeah, so I'm coming back to Ireland. I'm moving back to Ireland. I'm gonna play in the Irish Super League from next year forward. So I'm super excited to come home. It's been a long time.
Yeah, definitely. You've been on the road for a good few years now, I suppose.
A lot of miles on the knees.
I can imagine. Very good. And I suppose just to kind of finish it up, Jordan, in terms of, you know, the program again that we're talking about for the summer, what do you think is the main kind of takeaway that people will take from it, I suppose, and the experience altogether?
I think the attention to detail is huge. You know what I mean? Like we are focusing on giving you the exact tools that you need to be successful if this is the type of journey you want to take. And we have the right people there to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I've played basketball in Ireland, in Europe, in prep school and college. So whatever route that you want to take,
you've been there.
One of us have been there and we've done that. So I can help you. You know what I mean? So like we also have John Carroll involved, another guy who has done all of that. He went to prep school, went to college, came over to Europe then, playing on the senior team. Aiden Harris is going to be involved. I don't think much needs to be said about the experience that he's had in the States. You know, if you want to know anything about any level of it, he'll tell you. So the names that we have there, like the people that we're going to have involved, and then obviously the side of just the basketball, that's just the basketball side of it. And then you go to the numerous educational side of it and the academics. And it's just, again, for me, it's something that wasn't there before. I think we're definitely the first type of, you know, entity like this. So I'm super excited, man.
Yeah, I think we can say the same thing anyway. Looking forward to getting started now over the next few months. So look, appreciate your time, Jordan. I know you're on the road and traveling through, getting a bit of 4G, so really appreciate it. And forward to chatting to you now over the next while.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Listen, thanks to you, thanks to Dan, thanks to Innumeris. Very, very big things ahead.